supernatural allowed Carlos Santana to reascend to his musical pulpit and reclaim his pop audience. But prior to its release in 1999, the guitar guru was branded a dinosaur. He had secured a legacy, but couldn't land a record deal.
Receiving awards for somebody who has done that, been there, he's gone. Like the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, when they give you that one, it's almost like the kiss of death because it's over for you.
He was always seen as somebody who came up with some worthwhile experiments in music and was taking his playing in other directions. But he wasn't somebody who was going to get back on pop radio.
Although the music business pegged him for extinction, the deeply spiritual guitarist kept the faith. Santana says a 1995 visit from an angel called Metatron gave him hope that he would eventually return to the airwaves. And driven by that divine inspiration, he continued to spread positive vibrations on the road.
We were playing music all through all the valleys, up and downs, deserts, and milk and honey. I knew I had a masterpiece of joy in my belly.
I remember him telling me that his 3 children would come home all the time with music that was so filled with anger and alienation. And Carlos would just sit and listen to this, realizing that there was a message within him of hope and peace and joy that these children weren't hearing in the music that they were listening to.
He said his next record, he wanted to have an international hit. The reason was, he said at that time, that he wanted that kind of frequency, that healing frequency, he said, on the airwaves.
Soon after Santana connected with Metatron, a different sort of angel appeared in his life, his old boss, Clive Davis. In July of '97, Davis, who had left Columbia to head Arista Records, attended a Santana concert at New York's Radio City Music Hall.
I really went out for a social night, really. We had not seen each other literally for 15 to 20 years.
For Clive Davis, it was déjà vu all over again. The legendary hitman was captivated by Santana's performance, just as he had been 30 years earlier.
Seeing Carlos sweat up there and seeing him dazzling on the guitar once again with his own unique brand of virtuoso playing, I got excited. I felt it's contemporary. I didn't know where it was going, but I know I had a great evening.
A week after the Radio City performance, Davis and Santana hunkered down inside the Beverly Hills Hotel, where the old friends plotted their harmonic convergence.
Got right this close and says, what does Carlos Santana want to do? And I didn't hesitate. I says, I want to reconnect the molecules with the light. To my amazement, he didn't back down. He said, okay, how do you propose to do that? It wasn't like, uh-oh, this hippie took too many trips or whatever.
He was telling me that it was time for him to make a radio-friendly album, that it was time for him to reconnect the molecules to the light, and that light and reconnection would involve both of us. And I felt the same way.
And I said, well, it's the songs. You're the song person. They're in your desk. You say, this song is for Whitney, this song is for Aretha, this song is for Carlos.
Davis signed Santana to Arista in August of '97 and made the song search priority #1 at the label.
We needed to make a record that was going to bring Carlos back in a big way. So his directive to all of us was, let's get out there and let's find great songs.
Eurythmics guitarist Dave Stewart brought in the first contender. He'd written a hook-heavy rocker with Mick Jagger called The Blind Leading the Blind, which he thought would be perfect for Santana.
Carlos liked it, Clive liked it, everybody liked it, and Mick was singing rough scratch vocals on it at the time, and it sounded perfect with his voice, but it looked like he never intended to keep his vocals on it.
The song was still missing some lyrics, So Clive Davis met with Blues Traveler vocalist John Popper, an avowed Santana fan, and asked him to complete the track.
I was just doing a whole lot of stuff, and so I tried to just rip out a song real quick. I just kind of jotted down 2 verses to something.
Carlos saw it and Clive saw it, and we all looked at each other and were like, you know, good idea, but it's not really working.
They rejected it, and I think Clive was right to do it because it wasn't really a formulated idea enough.
The Blind Leading the Blind would never see the light of day, but it did open the eyes of the Arista Brain Trust.
If not Blues Traveler, well, why don't we reach out to Dave Matthews, and why don't we reach out to Wyclef, and why don't we reach out to some other people who have gone on record saying they're big fans of Carlos's music.
Arista's hunch immediately paid off. Wyclef Jean jumped at the chance to work with one of his heroes.
He's the god of music, and what he does, he's the god of the guitar.
Wyclef enlisted hip-hop upstarts Product GMB and flew to San Francisco in the spring of '98 with only the vaguest idea for a song.
Wyclef just said, yo, you know, we going to San Francisco to do a song with Carlos Santana. Wyclef had an idea about the West Side Story. So we sat there and we watched the movie, and he said, I got an idea, let's make a song like, you know, based on that.
He came in and I said, thank you for being here. I really, really appreciate it, man. You know, and he kept looking at me. He wouldn't say anything, he just kept looking at me, right in my eyes, about this close. He wrote the song looking at me in my eyes like if I had a chart. He grabbed it right out of the ether, looking at my eyes.
Maria, Maria. And then I went on the piano, and I said, yo, I got it, just the vibe, because I knew his energy would draw the vibe.
She living a life just like a movie star.
Wyclef's telepathic talents helped turn Maria Maria into Supernatural's first finished track.
Played by Carlos Santana.
The hip-hop homage to West Side Story would serve as an enchanting foundation for Carlos's magical collection.
I remember sitting with Clive and listening to it, and Clive's eyes lighting up, getting very excited. He's like, this is great, let's get some more.
It became a calling card, you know, as far as this project was concerned.
Carlos was like thrilled, he was excited. We couldn't wait. You know, let's get on with the next thing.
Next, a near-death experience helped Supernatural find its soul.
An angel gave it to him. That's what he told me.
Hey now, hey now, hey now.
And I was like, whoa.
When Ultimate Albums returns. Go to the shows area of VH1.com for a deeper look at Supernatural. Take our quiz, read interviews, and vote for the album's best song.